So the face-off now with all kinds of bodies stacked into the slot area. 1 2/10 seconds to go. Most likely, Kevin DeVirgilio is going to try to win the draw straight back onto the stick of Marty Flickle, who's going to look to one-time it. And if the Cyclones defend it correctly, look for Brian O'Hanley to try to jump in that shooting lane as the puck hits the ice. Our linesman, Mike Hamilton, drops it down. It'll go to the corner. That's it. The Cyclones are the Kelly Cup champions in 2010.
You know, guys, first, it's great to have all of you here. It's been a long, long time, and my goodness gracious, I just think back to all the fun that we had during that season just a decade ago. It seems like it was yesterday, and looking at a number of you guys, you look like you still play. Others maybe not so much. Myself included. I wanted to start. I wanted to start. You know, we'll go back to the start of the season, and as I think back to it, I wanted to kind of bounce first to Chuck and to Max. Chuck, you said that going into the 2010 season, that South Carolina from 2009, when we got eliminated, kind of set the blueprint for what this team was going to be. And Max obviously played on that team and can kind of talk about it. Chuck, tell me a little bit about, you know, what that blueprint looked like for you.
Well, the biggest thing was getting a bunch of guys that had won at different spots or had been close and hungry to finish the process and stuff like that. And we got some good players from Nashville. We got some really good players from Montreal, but we had a great core of guys as well. I think it kind of started as well the year before, you know, and there's a Tito combination there when Fresno folded, getting Sproder, OH, and Cogs. From there, the year before, we took half of Wheeling's decor with Brock, Crancy, and Cash. We just kind of picked and chose the guys that, from a character standpoint, that we wanted, and you know, and kind of built it from there. And you know, I made some mistakes with some character guys in the 08, 09 season. Ego and some of the few of the guys would probably go, yep. But I think we got this group right from the standpoint. They knew when to have fun, and they knew when to take it seriously.
Max, kind of walk us through that 2009 championship team. Did you see similarities between that group that knocked us out in the conference finals there, and what team you came to join in Cincinnati?
Yeah, for me, the biggest point was the group of leaders was so great in both teams. The leaders that we had in South Carolina are right now Spencer Carberry, who's coaching in Hershey, and guys that really had good character in the room. We had Kaiser on defense, who was so solid, but so good at involving everybody, putting smiles on everybody's face. And when I got to Cincinnati, it was the same thing. We had such a great group of leaders that would bring everybody along, and such a big difference. And then all you need is a more different group, and when the leader core is so solid, it just makes everybody so much more comfortable, and everything so much easier.
That makes some sense there. Ego, kind of walk us through, 2009, there was a lot of overachieving that happened in that season. In 2010, with the start of the season, take us through, did you notice anything different at the start of the season from where 2009 ended?
I don't know. I think you kind of live and learn every year, right? And I think the guys that came back or chose to come back, or guys that we had on that 09 season, you don't bring back the guys you bring back the good character guys. And so we had a pretty good base of guys, and then every year you're going to add, right? So we were lucky enough to get some some good players sent down from affiliates and add some really good players and good character guys. And you never know, though, right? It's as the season goes on, we all know that the guys you start in training camp with that's not going to be the team at Christmas or February or March or the end of playoffs. So I don't know. We were really lucky to. I mean, I think Delhi. We traded for Delhi earlier in the year, right? Made a few key pickups, guys that contributed, and we're lucky enough. I think everything kind of fell in place in the playoffs, where we kind of were able to get everybody back that we could get back, and things worked out.
Well, it was a little bit of a slow start to begin with. The season opened up with a 5-4-1 mark, kind of some bumpy road there the first half of the year. Just 21 wins in the first 36. As things kind of got settled in.
Amber, I'll cut you off. Can I cut you off for 1 second? That's the thing. Like, when you think about that season, I mean, half the guys weren't there for half the regular season, anyways. But I don't even remember, how our season went. You could ask me what our record was. I have no idea.
With the injuries and the call-ups, we stayed alive. that was our regular season.
All right.
There's guys. I looked up on Hockey DB there just to see that guy played that year, played 5 games or 10 games before Christmas, and when you play, all those years kind of run together. Teams run together, and until you kind of go back and look on it, especially 10 years down the road.
For sure.
You remember the good part. You remember the playoffs. Remember the end.
Well, it's funny that you say that, guys, because there were 40 guys that rolled through the locker room over the course of that season. And I think there were 11 guys that were here for 7 games or less. So definitely it was a revolving door, but obviously the majority of you guys were there through the whole run on it. The next thing, let's kind of skip ahead since we're not going to kind of bounce that way. The thing that kind of jumped out to me was this was not statistically a great offensive team, but it was really good defensively. Led the league in shorthanded goals, second in terms of not allowing goals, second in shots allowed, the whole 9 yards there. OH, walk me through, as that season went on, it just seemed like every game was going to be destined for a 2-1 game. In fact, we played the fewest overtime games of any team in the league. We only got there 7 times.
Yeah, kind of hammering on stats, but in the overall, I was pretty confident toward the end that we were, even when, look at do the regular season, the playoff run, even we're in those, the Idaho games and stuff, I was always pretty confident, kind of like the New England Patriots, when it's close or you're down late, you're going to come through and you're going to come out on top.
All right, I think
too much worry.
I think we've hit enough here with the regular season. I'm ready to kind of dive into to getting to the postseason. The series with South Carolina. Is that whole thing kicked off? We're a 5th seed with the second most wins in the entire league. You got to play the defending champs in the first round, and you open up with the first 2 games at home, and then you wind up on the road to go down there for 3. Killer, kind of walk me through, the beginning of the postseason there with South Carolina. What was kind of the mindset as we picked up there?
I guess from what I can remember is trying to figure out who was on our team at the time going right into playoffs, because we did pick up a few bodies kind of each round. But I think we had good mojo going into the playoff side of things, and then it just kind of kept rolling. I mean, guys were chipping in. There wasn't one guy that was highlighting everything every night. It was a new guy every night, from what I can remember. And then an injury here, we get a body in. That was the fun part for me, was the first early on piece, and then as it carried through, every night it was somebody new. So that's what I remember more than anything early on, for sure.
I remember having 0 players. I remember us having not many players for that first round. Chuck, am I right? We had 5D. Didn't we bring someone in from Northern Michigan and he couldn't play unless we had a certain amount of
Alan Dorich.
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah, we were playing it to win it, so we brought it. We went with the bare minimum. We had the 3 college. We had Eddie, Ortiz, and Hedinger come in. But yeah, and then biggest thing with this series, you guys were Bob was duct taping most of you together, especially the D. If Ego didn't score in overtime and that off the penalty, I think was it Brock that you got run in overtime? That led to the one of you defenseman got ran in overtime that I think was out for the game. What's that?
Probably Brock.
Yeah.
No, I remember that very clearly.
So if Ego doesn't score in overtime, we're probably done. 'Cause I think we're down to 2 defensemen or 3 defensemen at the time. Yeah, you guys were just going on adrenaline at that point, especially the way the schedule was set up. And I think Smitty, we got outshot if I remember most nights, and Smitty, to his credit, was pretty good in that series.
A very physical series too. Like, it was a battle. The boys were pretty banged up, especially that last game. But I remember it just being a really tough series to play in.
Yeah, every game was close. Like it was just, and again, it was fortunately we won the first game because I think that gave us a chance because we never trailed the series, which I thought was key. That we were always, it was almost okay. We got to recover. We lose a game. All right, now we got to play.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
We played 3 overtime games in 3 days there, and that was 5 games in 6 nights. It was insane.
Yeah.
Especially down there where it's hotter than Hades. So.
And that's one of the things I wanted to touch on. That game 3, the series is tied at a game apiece. We go down there, it's scoreless. We go to overtime, and Heidinger winds up getting the goal in overtime, his first pro goal. Who's out there on that goal?
I was out there. Chuck always puts the rookies on my line.
Is that why Sproder and Aubie were on your line in Game 5?
How about when I picked up the puck and threw it to go down 5-on-3 and they hit like 2 posts on that 5-on-3 and that could have ended the series.
Just one-timers coming.
Yeah.
That would have been.
I remember that.
Just Campbell just ripping one-timers off that left hash.
Flamingos left and right.
Just survival mode at that point.
That probably would have been the end of my career if they scored.
I just remember Campbell hitting me so hard in Game 3, and it felt like my ribs broke.
They were good. Yeah, I mean, our conference was good. Like there was no nights off for you guys, regular season, and then into like the playoffs. Like all the teams that we played in the playoffs, they were stacked. Like everyone was stacked. I thought. So I mean,
Charlotte
there was
good. Charlotte.
Yeah, that was some good. I thought that it was just good hockey. Like it was. There's a couple of blowouts along the way, but that South Carolina series, it could have been either one of us could have won the whole thing that year.
And then we go Game 5. Ego gets the game winner. Kind of talk about that. 2-2. As I had it here, as I recall, that was one where we had the lead. They got it late to tie it back up, and then you got the game winner in OT.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I remember the goal. It's the only big goal I ever scored. But whoever the D was, just threw it on net, and Aubie will tell you, it was all him. He kicked it over to me, and I did have a wide open net. He finally won a battle in front. But anybody could have put it in. But I think just the feeling after that was just relief, just because of that stretch and the 3 overtime games in a row, and just like, hey, can we just have a day off?
Yeah, pretty much. I think that was that season. We actually did some we were practicing in tracksuits at times. So you guys were going out for tracksuit skates, for God's sakes. We were just whenever you guys wanted to. It's like, all right, go ahead.
And then when the series there ends, we
remember. Okay, so wait, Hammer, hold on. For South Carolina, for who's in the call here, Mama, you were up, correct? You were in Bridgeport for South Carolina. OH, you were there. Jose, you were up. I'm trying to remember who out of this call who was up. And Jose, you were up, right, for South Carolina?
I was hurt. I got hurt in Game 2.
That's okay. That's it. Okay, yep. Because I remember you didn't play the last couple games, but I didn't remember what led to it.
Yeah, I got buried dumping the puck in. So that was it for the old man body.
Brock, we kept duct tape together. Deli played. Sproder was. Crancy, were you hurt at the time? Or did you got hurt in that series?
Yeah, I was the guy who got wrecked from behind. So that was the biggest goal I never saw.
Okay, so it was, we assumed it was Brock, but okay, yeah. So you got ran from behind, yeah.
Punched on the bench with Bobo trying to figure out how to breathe and couldn't even get out to Selly with the boys. I was in so much pain.
And then everybody else, I think, was with us at the time. So yeah, good.
Yeah.
I remember having my legs.
Yeah, Max, you were up.
Yeah, I was up
down
for the whole series.
We didn't have guilds. I know that. We didn't have them.
I know we didn't have Mama, we didn't have Cash, we didn't have guilds. So we didn't have
Coggy.
What's up?
We didn't have Coggy.
We having those risks.
But I
got us there.
I was cheering you boys on. Let's not forget the guys behind the scenes, eh, fellas?
New guy.
Hey, never did.
All right, so we get out of the series. We go to Charlotte, everybody's favorite place to go, and we steal game 1 4-3, and then typical Cyclone fashion, it's an even numbered game. We lost that, so we go back to Cincinnati. The series is at a game apiece. What happened in game 3? That was a game where it was 9-5. We wind up behind by 2 goals twice. We score 3 power plays, 2 shorties, and it seemed like we ran them out of the building after they hit us on the ropes.
I can't even remember Charlotte. I only remember Reading. That's all I remember.
We did play Charlotte.
Hey, so here's what I remember of that Charlotte series. They were really, really, really good. And like they had everybody there. And we probably would have lost in 4 or 5 games if it wasn't for Jeremy Smith, who was unbelievable that entire season.
Yeah, I remember us
like
winning.
months in that. We had Smitty.
I remember
they were big bullies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Benny was pretty big in that series too. You know, he had to be. So
I remember us winning games 2-1 in the last minute and then losing the next game like 8-0. And then winning the next game 1-0 and then losing 7-1. Yeah. And just like getting it done somehow.
It's not far off.
I don't know why I think of it, but I feel like that South Carolina series and then the Charlotte series were both like just Royal Rumbles. I just remember that like taking years off my life. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
The other ones weren't so bad, but I feel like those two were just so physical.
There was a lot of pushing and shoving after every whistle, and it was just hacking and whacking, and guys were running guys. Biggest thing I remember about Charlotte, well, 2 things, was in their building on a couple off days, doing the tracksuits, guys just going on. We were just like, okay, just save all your energy for games. Like we didn't do anything, physical that didn't involve just the game. And then I remember trying to get on the bus after we won Game 7, and their owner had us blocked in and wouldn't move his car. So that took us forever to get out of there after we beat them, because that was their end of the Charlotte organization at the East Coast League level.
And then, Van had the 2 goals in Game 7 to get us out of there. At that stage in the game, you're done with South Carolina, you're done with Charlotte, and now you take a look at the other side of the bracket. Now it's Reading. At that stage of the game, anybody ready to take a deep breath and say, "Wow, the nightmare might be slowing down a little bit"?
Well,
Yeah,
they were
we
built
might have for 3
differently.
games.
But they were built differently in those other teams. Like they had skill guys, right? Like Crothers and Ben Gordon. And what was that like Swiss guy they had? Do you know what I'm talking about? Or it might have been Swiss.
Yeah, I mean they were a good team. They were a good team too. It was...
And they had a really good goalie. He kind of carried them the first couple games, and I didn't realize this. I went back and looked at this week. Like I think we played in Charlotte like either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday, and then lost home, and we played Saturday. Where I think they we were sitting rested for, which makes a big difference, right? So we were kind of on short rest, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, you're down 2 games, and before you know it.
And then
I thought so. Yeah, and it was weird for us to have home ice finally. Like it was kind of like, oh, we're kind of thing. I think it was a little different from that standpoint. And I don't remember like the first 3 games going like we were outclassed. I don't know if you guys felt differently, but I felt it was like a bounce here, bounce there, and that was the difference.
The first 3 games, I think we had 50 shots against 20 or something like that. I know we just could not put the puck in the net. That's the only thing I remember from that series. And then after 3 games, it started going in, and then it never stopped.
And then, the first 2 games get away, and we hit the road, go to Reading. Not a bad road team all year. Any concerns heading out and figuring, at that stage of the game, if we can get a couple games there, we can come back and be all right. We did it, but it just went a little differently than I think anybody wanted to hope that it would go.
We did it the hard way. It would have been a lot easier to win game 3. But we didn't. We did it the hard way. So, yeah, it was definitely – I mean, no one wanted to be in Reading for that long, for God's sakes. It's got to – no offense to the people of Reading, Pennsylvania, but we were living in an old insane asylum that they turned into a hotel, for God's sakes. So, it was not
my roommate. And Avi was my roommate.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. We were only there for 7 days.
Oh, yeah, most of them were off days. Like, so who wants to tell the Cinco de Mayo story? I know Mama asked something about did you guys go out for a beverage? And so you guys got to tell the Cinco de Mayo story.
I think that's when the stock market also fell. Dramatic focus too. And Mom and I were just going, how much did it drop? Oh my gosh, we're all going to be jobless.
Hey, so I will say one thing. So we're all all or almost everybody, like a lot of the guys were at that Mexican place. And I think we were there for a while.
I think it was Rotor, but I think that event is really kind of what brought us out of the slump that we were in Reading, right? Because we were down quite a bit there, eh? And
just 3-0.
Right. So I think that helped to get everyone back on the same page and kind of propel the team forward. From what I can remember of that evening, I was very, very tired. But yeah, I think there was something with some Cinco de Mayo place, and then there was some Woods bar, something or another. Not really too sure. I think it was just a Rotor's idea again.
I figured you guys were going to throw cash under the bus on this one, but
no, the Reading guys took us out. The Reading guys were taking us out too. We were out with the Reading guys, so they dropped us off at our hotel. So how did that happen? I have no idea, but they were out with us.
Yeah, little did they know that's actually when I played better.
As the urban legend goes, you guys just outdrank Reading the rest of the series. So,
yep.
I remember Deli's 2-hand in that brawl.
Thank God they did not have Deli's 2-hand did not make video back in the day on that one.
Rotor, why did you care about the stock market when making $350 a week?
I think it was an argument. I think Brett went, the stock market dropped 1,000 points, and it was like, what? Somehow it was a shock to me. But I don't remember anything after that. Just us being idiots.
I haven't traded since, actually. But yeah.
And you just build your shelf with 2x4s that you find at Walmart. Got it.
All right, so we're now 0-3. We're pretty well liquored up. We got a couple days to get it out of the system, and game 4 wind up getting.
Well, first thing was how funny was it? All the guys came in thinking that like icy hot, big red, all of this stuff was like. They were trying just to get through practice. There was like Diener smelled everything. Like Diener had a nose. he smelled everything, and it's like, yeah, we know. What are we gonna do?
I can just tell you that first practice after Cinco de Mayo, if there'd been open flame, we were in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, staff went to Atlantic City. We took the equipment van to Atlantic City for the night, so it was what it was.
But anyway, we come back and now we've got game 4. Reading jumps out to a 2-0 lead, and we fight our way back 6-4. And toward the end of that one, it started to get a little nasty, and obviously it carried over into game 5 as well, as we all know. Deli, kind of walk us through that little stretch of games.
Didn't we pump them in game 5 or game 4?
Game 4, we gave them a good run. Yeah, I don't know what happened in that brawl, to be honest. From my perspective, it was just this massive dude. That guy Barry, remember that defenseman Barry? He was 6'4", huge, coming at me, and I'm like, I'm not dropping my gloves with this guy.
I'll swing my stick as hard.
I'll swing my stick at him though. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Brock. It was 6-4 in game 4, and then game 5 they got 5-0, and that was at the end of the game up in my vantage point, about 6 area codes away. The guys on the end of their bench were chirping each other on their way off the ice after that one, and that looked like that might be the first little dent that was in the armor at that stage in the game. Coming back, same thing in game 6, down 2-0, come back for a 6-3 win. Guys, what was it about the postseason? You had 4 wins in the playoffs, down by 2 goals, each come from behind wins.
I think it's just the way we played games all year, because they were close. Like, we just never felt like we were out of it. I think that was a key thing. And I think when I look back at that series too, I mean, I think, we can laugh about Cinco de Mayo and bringing the team back together, but really that brawl, like once that brawl happened, like, I felt confident we had that series. And honestly, there was really no looking back after that happened. I know we were still down a game, but I think after that we just had the mentality that we weren't going to lose.
They were so struggling. I mean, I remember they were shaving their beards to mustaches and all of that other stuff. This group had them mentally beat after game. Well, you guys might have had them mentally beat at the bar, but yeah, this group had them mentally beat after game 4, and it was just to that point of finishing them off.
I just remember like that brawl and Deli's chirping their bench. He's getting dragged off the ice, and like I was so fired up, and we knew we were going back to Cincinnati for the next 2 games, which they never thought they'd be doing, right? Like, that's kind of tough on them to turn around. But again, Hammer, like, game 6 in Cincinnati, we were down 2-0 early. It was in the first 10 minutes. We were down 2-0. We came back, got one before the end of the first period, but like it felt like game, and then we won 1-0 the next night. Like, those were good, close games.
I thought you said South Carolina was the only place you ever scored an important goal.
Yeah, that's when I had my eyes closed.
Oh, okay.
Sproder just passed it to me.
And the funny part about it, guys, again, a 1-0 game, a first period goal, and then it's just locked down at that stage in the game. And again, that was kind of the mantra all season long. The defense guys just do what they do. Everybody penalty kills, same thing, and we wind up coming out of there with the win. Kind of talk about after we wind up knocking out Reading. You know what? We've got 11 hours, and we got to get on a plane and go to Boise. I mean, how do you celebrate your conference championship? Get ready to head out of town and do everything you got to do on 11 hours.
Didn't we play like 6 games in like 8 days or something? Counting the start of we played 2 in Reading, like
6 and 9 or something. Yeah, that was stupid.
Something like that. I mean, we won them all.
It was 6 games in 8 days. You won them all. And if you count the entire Idaho series from the start of game 4 with Reading, We played 9 games in 14 days, and the only one we didn't win was the double overtime game in Game 4 with Idaho. That is still an ECHL record for most games in a 14-day window.
You know what, Hammer? Like, we got on that plane and we were so fired up that we won and came back to beat Reading, and we're like, like we gotta like go home and pack and get back and go to the airport, right? And I remember getting to Boise. I was so tired because no one slept that night. I was so tired, but at the same time, it was almost like the whole playoffs were like that. So it's kind of like whatever. It's just another thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm shocked that we won both games out there because they were rested. They had a first round bye. They ran away with the West, right? Like, and we were able to squeeze out 2 wins like right at the end of both games, right? But it was the whole playoffs. We were always tired, so it's kind of the only thing we knew.
When that series
what game
started,
did Smitty get? What game did Smitty get run? His Conkey. Anyone remember?
I don't know.
I thought it was the home game in
that was in the Reading series, wasn't it?
In the Reading series.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the Reading series, I think.
Yeah, hey, let's not forget there was some goaltending. The goalies both played really good, but Chuck, you kind of had a little goaltending controversy going on there, kind of going back with switching up the goalies there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it worked out well. I mean, Smitty got us there. His health. I mean, they wanted us to bring in an e-bug, but Doc said he was okay enough to back up because I didn't want them to Reading to take a. I thought it was game 5 or game 6 with Reading. I figured if we put an e-bug in that they were going to try to run Mersey. So that's why Smitty battled through it with the Conkey just to back up kind of thing. I don't think he took shots in warm up. He just stood there. But yeah, in the finals, it was better be lucky than good when it comes to decisions.
And then we get to Idaho, and the first game there, that winds up. First things first, we see Killer back in the lineup there. That was a great thing at that stage of the game to be able to get him back into the lineup there in Idaho. And the first game we win 3-2. Van scores with 49 seconds to go. And guys, what's the relief like at that stage in the game? Because Idaho was pretty doggone good.
Yeah, I think they were really good, and I've played in the West. Spurs played in the West. That's a super tough place to play, especially coming to the situation we were in. Obviously not getting ahead of the horse there, but winning those 2 games was just the way we did it and the way everything. It was quite of uplifting relief.
We scored early. If memory serves me correct, we scored in the first minute and the last minute of at least one of those, if not both of those games.
It had to be game 1. Sproder had the only goal in game 2.
Okay, yeah. So game 1, we scored like the first minute or minute and a half, and then scored in the last minute of that game. So that was a big lift. I just remember being exhausted because Diener and I had to do all the video once we got out there, so we didn't sleep. I think until after game 1 was the first time we got any sleep from that, and it worked out well. Maddie Thomas gave us all the DVDs. We're sitting at the front desk for us to get all the pre-scout done for these guys for the morning of game 1.
And
I was gonna jump in and just say, for me, when we won game 1, it was like, oh, amazing! Now we can lose game 2 and go home. And then on the topic of me getting the only goal for game 2, I'd say not if you ask Obby.
Hey.
Obby took the interview afterwards, claiming that it was him. He was like, "Oh, I just put it in the net and put it off D-man's shin pad, and yeah, it was great." I have line mates, but I scored.
Sproder, wasn't it a backhand from like the blue line?
No, it went off my pants. It was like,
That's right, off your ass or something.
Bobby took a shot, and I was just going to the net, and it went off my pants and in. But he shot it like it was going like 6 feet wide, so there's no way he thought it was
Yeah, but you led the squad in goals that run, right, Sproder?
He did. I think he had 11 or something.
Games.
Andrew says yes.
Yeah. At least that was the announcement on the goal in Game 5 that you had tied for the league lead or something like that in playoff goals.
And I want to step over, and I'm glad you stepped up there, Sproter. You and Cogs, guys, having been out in the West, with
forget
Fresno
OH.
and having the go there, was there any extra intelligence you could share with the guys to help with that? Because most of the guys probably hadn't seen much of the Idaho guys in recent history.
Sprotter, you take this one, pal.
Cogs, we want to hear from you.
All right, I'll tell you. The West played heavy. I mean, I think I played 14 games in Fresno, and every game was like playoff hockey. It was a bit different style, kind of like the NHL, where bigger, stronger teams, a little bit more skill in the what division were we in? The East?
North.
The North. That's right.
It changes every year.
So, like just from a general, I guess, Staub perspective, generally speaking, they were like heavier to play against, a little bit more, I guess you could say heavy or rough hockey.
I agree. I think that was the first series that we kind of took it to another team physically, though. Like I remember in Game 1 or Game 2, like McKenzie just absolutely murdered a guy in the corner.
Yeah.
It would have been probably 10 or 15 games in today's hockey, but back then it was all good. So I remember him just throwing the weight around, and a couple other guys just. I think we took it to him for the first time in all 4 series.
Yeah, I thought they had it because they played. Was it Huxley? And he didn't play. Like, he just sat there as the 10th forward. He would come out, and Laxey would try to get him to fight Benny, and Benny would look at me like, can I fight him? And it's like, nope, make him play. And he never played again. Like, fortunately for us, all the guys that we had grit, we had a lot of team toughness, but all our guys could play. Like, that was the biggest thing I thought on our group from top to bottom. We were team tough, and then all these guys could play the game.
All right, we
must have got outshot a lot those first 2 games, right? I think we got outshot like 40-20 sort of thing. But
yeah, Mersey was Robert was really good. His ability to play the puck made our life a lot easier too. In that final series.
Yeah, he was a lot better.
I remember feeling extremely like confident. Like, it's not like they were getting breakaways and stuff. They just had the puck a lot and taking outside shots in a bigger rink. Mama?
I was just saying, yeah, Mayor was a lot better at playing the puck than Cashman in the corners for sure.
Oh, that's great. Where is Cash? He's wasn't able to join or what? I missed that guy.
The NHL calls.
Yeah.
I texted him. I didn't get anything back.
Weird.
All right, so
I
now
want to ask him about that backhand in front of the net in Game 5.
All right, we come back home. We're up 2-0. We get to Game 3, and guys, once again, 3-0 hole. This time took a little longer, able to get all the way back, force the overtime, and then Evan Barlow does us in the second overtime. At that stage in the game, what was the fatigue factor like at that point? Because as we've talked about, at that stage in the game, we're done with 6 games. You've now had a 2-day break at that point, but you wind up going double overtime.
I remember being tired, but I honestly don't. I think my mindset at that point, I think we had them. Like I remember those last few games there. We were tired, yeah, but I remember thinking that it's just inevitable we're going to win this and pull us out. So even with that kind of overtime loss like that, I didn't think it hurt us mentally. I mean, yeah, we were tired or whatever, but I think we were still pretty positive on winning that series.
And then holy mackerel.
Look who shows up just towards the Idaho series.
Boy.
So gross. Look at that.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Toupee.
Shut up, Cogs.
Mine's not much better, but
Holy crap. Hammer.
We get to the fourth game now, and Idaho, they had leads in the game. Sproder and Cashman, of course, get goals less than a minute apart in the third period to flip a 2-1 deficit to a 3-2 lead. And again, guys, now we're a win away. I mean, what's the thinking like at that point?
Finish this. I think everyone was just gassed at that point. It's like we did not want to get on a bus plane or anything like that at that point.
And then now the finale is the 2-1 game in Game 5, and the star of the show, of course, was kind enough to join us right now, and.
he wears.
Hey, all I'm gonna say, the first goal was a beauty. Mac chipped that to Mama. Because Mama was always going forward. There was not a chance that Mama was not going to be joining that rush before he passed it to Sproder there. So I mean that was a couple really nice goals. And then Joe's, picking Robo's stick out of the air kind of for that tip like that. So there's a couple world-class goals there.
Yeah, and I'd just like to let Ego know that Robo is a Mercyhurst grad.
Finally, one of them did something.
What's that, Ego? just had to throw that in there.
Now I've got to ask, guys, the one thing is we noticed through the whole 4-year run, during Chuck's era, the one thing that was masterful, I was going through some of the trades during the 2010 season, and Deli, we got him early in the season. Anybody remember who went for Deli?
The Cohen?
Brian Marshall.
Brian Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Marshall, who was with us for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was tough to see him go, though, Hammer.
Character guys.
I don't think I could pick Brian Marshall. No offense to Brian Marshall if he watches the recording, but people probably can pick me out of a line, but I don't think I could pick Brian Marshall out of a line.
Another guy that we got during that run, although he wasn't on the playoff roster but stuck around, Chris Morehouse.
He's running NHL teams now. So.
Great.
Do we know who went in exchange for him?
It was my older roommate, Reed.
Joseph, you were the touch of death?
I was the Grim Reaper.
Reed.
No, not Reed. He used to sit and watch like Sports Center like 17 hours a day and crush about 13 beers every afternoon.
Brian Leach.
Yes.
Ian Leach.
It was him, wasn't it? Wasn't that who we traded for?
Was it Leach?
12-pack of Budweiser every day.
Yeah.
I think I had to trade him 6 times that year because he'd go to a team and they would want to send him back because he was on a contract with Milwaukee. And I was like, no.
He was a Hobie Baker finalist, wasn't
he? Yep.
Oh, yeah, he led the NCAA in scoring.
A lot of secondary assists that year.
What was he, Quinnipiac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last trade we had, and I'm curious, you guys keep talking about him. Aubie, what did we give up for Aubie?
Was it Papa?
It wasn't a puck bag and a 6-pack.
Was it Papa?
No, you know who it was? It was that defenseman, Marchese, wasn't it?
Oh, right-handed shot too.
Did we trade Volks the year before?
No, Volks was part of that deal. It was a 2-for-1.
Oh, okay.
They were desperate for bodies, and
Volks went on to a pretty good career.
Still playing. He's like one of the top scorers in the German First League. So
yeah.
St. Thomas, Ontario.
So those were the deals there. I mean, at one point or another, I think almost every one of you got acquired in season by him. You know, what's that like to make that sudden move from wherever you're at and get the call that you're going to Cincinnati? I think Ego's the only one who was exempt.
I was so pumped.
Well,
I was playing in Johnstown.
Deli, give
I was
us some
playing in
context.
Johnstown. The Johnstown Chiefs. I couldn't have been more happy my whole life.
What about the history and tradition there, though, Deli? Come on.
Yeah, the Blind Lemon. Great spot.
Yeah, as somebody
That's by Dam. Come on.
As somebody that was traded early on in my career from Greenville up to Toledo, I would have taken a trade to Cincinnati any day. So.
Well, it's funny you say that, Jost, because you know your pathway was a little different too along the way. In 07, Toledo got knocked out by the Clones, or in 08, 06, 07, our first year, and then you're in Vegas the next year, and you get knocked out there, and you know you wind up here in 2010. I mean.
We finally got him. It took us a while, but we finally got him.
Yeah, I mean, I hated Cincinnati just because of that in 2008. So it was kind of a cool way to win a championship, knowing that 2 years previous I was there within arm's reach, but didn't get there. So I'll look at just kind of recapping on those teams. I was thinking about that this last couple of weeks, like. And I know Ego will debate this, but I feel like when I was in Vegas in 2008, like our team skill-wise wasn't even close. But
we were much deeper.
We weren't a great team though. That was the difference. Like it was a good group of guys, but on the ice we just didn't translate, and we weren't as good of a team. And that's to me that's what it felt like when we got beaten. Obviously, it was the same when we won in 2010. Like, I don't think we had the most skilled team. I think you talked about defense, and it was overall team defense. We just had a great team, and we really came together at the right time. So.
I thought that one of the biggest keys to this group as well was just the selflessness. There's a lot of guys that should have been playing that weren't, and they just. Maybe they were complaining behind the scenes or whatever to their roommate or, whatever the case may be. But it seemed like at the arena, you guys were just like, okay, let's go, kind of thing. And, and everyone was a big part in one series or another, or one game or another, from that standpoint.
Yeah, I thought it was coaching.
I just tried not to get in the way.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, as a guy who's kind of in and out of the lineup all series, and that was the feeling you got with anybody is like, just you were waiting for a chance. You want a shot to get in there and, do whatever you can to help out. It wasn't animosity towards not playing. And, it was a positive group of guys, and it was awesome to run through. And, even in the finals, not having a chance to play at all, but getting to watch the boys finish it off and, get to know Coggy a little better than I probably wanted to, but
wait, Coggy, you didn't play?
I did play a role, but my playoffs was cut short, unfortunately. Pretty sure I took you under my wing, Robo. But you know what? To Crancy's point, honestly, I think everyone, being on the sidelines there to finish off the year is one of the glue guys. I think genuinely everyone just liked being in each other's company. We hung out away from the rink, Hands and Mama and Rotor. You knew which bar to find those guys at. They were always together. And then Sproder got HP4K going, and Ego and Rennie were playing board games. And, I think we all just really liked each other's company. Even the, C-Web and where's Storky? Where's Storky at? I thought he'd be all over this, but
he's got to be out recruiting or something.
Yeah, right. So no, but honestly, I think that was the most fun I've ever had in a season, and it's nice having a couple Mercyhurst guys there, and Pierce and Robo, and
Eddie too,
and then Sproder and Hans from Fresno, which was awesome, and then I think Hagel had a cup of tea with us, but it was just fun. Even I love chirping Ego right now. He's got 3 photos behind him there holding the Kelly Cup.
I love you chirping me, Cogs. I miss
it. When you send me a text, I just get so excited. And but I honestly think it was just guys enjoyed being at the rink.
We're definitely a fun group of guys. And I think just to that point earlier is we didn't we honestly we didn't have anybody that good. We didn't have superstars, guys that like we had really good players. We had a group of really good players. We didn't have the superstar guys that were carrying us all the way or that we had to lean on so much, right? Nobody had to play 25, 30 minutes a night. We had we had guys like you said, not even playing, that were like unbelievable hockey players and went on to play like higher levels. It was such a great team, great group of guys.
Now that we've kind of run through the entire season, what are some of the memories or stories that maybe everybody doesn't necessarily know that went on behind the scenes? I know that late in that season, I spent some very quality time with Mama, taking him to dentists and oral surgeons after a little run-in with a home game in Elmira. And our medical staff was so stretched out that they're asking me to cart guys around.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, especially relatable to now, like we all had the swine flu. Like we all got pretty sick. A couple guys I think ended up in the hospital with that. So that was, maybe something that didn't make it out to the general public. But that was a rough trip to Elmira and back for sure.
Didn't Cashman have it for like 2 weeks? Like I remember not seeing him. He was like in his apartment for like 2 weeks, like dead.
Yeah. Jimmy got it pretty bad too, didn't you?
That sounds right. I don't remember.
No, I remember Killer having it bad too. There was a couple of guys that had it for like a week that like we didn't practice. We didn't see them.
Some had the swine flu. Some had the wine flu.
Hey, so speaking of wine, so that year, start of the season, we're back near the start of the season. We had a bunch of the guys Thanksgiving over at our house, and some Cogs shows up like 2 hours late. Hair everywhere. Hair looks like it does right now. Comes walking in and he he was very comes in. He's got a bottle of wine, gives it to Rebecca. He's like, hey, thanks for inviting me. Like, very nice. I'm like, she's like, oh, I was very nice of him. So whatever, we eat, we have a couple of drinks or whatever, and Cogs, he's like, hey, I've got another Thanksgiving dinner to go to tonight. And we're like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. We know that Cogs became pretty tight with Herb and Sherry in the Booster Club there.
That's right.
So they invite him over for Thanksgiving dinner that night. So sure enough, he's getting ready. He's like, I gotta get going. And he kind of like, I think he kind of like did it like kind of when nobody was looking. He goes over to Rebecca and he's like, hey, I'm going to Thanksgiving dinner at Herb and Sherry's tonight, and I don't have like a bottle of wine. Can I get that bottle?
No way.
She like didn't even know what to do or say, so whatever. Whatever, take the bottle of wine. So he took it. Herb and Sherry probably sipped that thing back. So if they're listening to this down there next week or whatever, Herb and Sherry, that's my bottle of wine you enjoy. Thanksgiving.
That's great.
I'll send you another bottle of wine, Ego, but not for you, for Rebecca. And Sherry, for the record, still messages me every year on my birthday.
Aww.
It's nice. You don't message me on my birthday?
Hey, I should. If it wasn't for me texting you today, you wouldn't be on.
That's true.
I'm trying to remember. I think, was it 08? You were going to get called up at Kalamazoo, but you didn't have your driver's license or something like that. That was like your call up, and you're like, all right, good. Oh, I didn't bring any ID with me.
Yeah. Like you say before, every time before you get on the bus, bring your ID in case something happens. And I was like, probably late for the bus or something, and thought there was no chance of getting called up. So, is what it is.
Yeah, because I ended up going and stayed in a Motel 6. I got picked up at like 3 a.m. Played the next day at noon.
Probably like a 4-4 or something like that for you too.
4-4, 4 games in 4 days, but. Yeah.
But you got $50, $54 per diem, so that's cool.
I don't know if I got anything.
Houston Solosia.
Houston Solosia, probably, yeah.
was there anything else? I'm just curious because there were so many great things that happened during that year. I mean, just as everything kind of unfurled, it just seemed like momentum was building once we got to like the beginning of March.
I agree with what the other guys have said, especially from like short pro career. Nothing was even close to the group we had. I thought we had a great time away from the rink, for the most part together, and that's not really what you see. I think at the pro level, every other experience I had, you're kind of on your own, maybe with a small group of guys. But I felt like even though there were some guys playing board games, other guys going to the bar, there was a lot of times we were all together.
Yeah. It was because, I mean, we had the practice rink right down the street. Great building. You pull up. I think that's what made Cincinnati special is that you're a major league team base. I mean, with the Reds ballpark and the Bengals and then us, and I thought it was pretty special from that way. And heck, this group, the amount of alcohol that was consumed after that win, like all the buckets that came in and the cigar smoke and everything else, and the party moving down the road and then back up to the apartments. Like it was, I mean, again, these guys always party together. I think only one or two guys got sidetracked that night, and but everyone else pretty much stayed together. Brock, I see you laughing. We know what the hidden story is.
Yeah.
So,
guys not on the call.
But it was like, again, these guys, they started together and ended it together. I think that was the biggest thing. And different guys. And the biggest thing, the core group, whoever came in new was welcomed. Like, I thought that's the one, especially the guys that are in this call that were here for a good part of the year. I mean, they welcomed everyone that came in and, made them feel at home.
Chuck, I think and people say this all the time, but honestly, like, the hockey stuff was awesome. Memories for a lifetime, but and I miss this from not playing, is just, the bus rides and just, like all the dumb. I remember it was like, I think I was trying to think this week, it was like an off day in Charlotte in the playoffs. We were at their practice rink and we're in like a high school team's locker room and Dali's dancing in the dressing room, being an idiot, like just the dumb that goes on to that whole thing off the ice. And there's nothing better. There's no better feeling in sports than getting on a bus after you win a game, and especially win a series, with all the guys and have some beers and do whatever you do. Watch a movie, shoot the shit, play cards, take Robo's money, whatever you do.
No wonder you can afford a haircut.
Like those rides home are the best.
Yeah.
That's a Corona haircut right there.
Quarantine haircut for sure.
Did you guys?
True, and like Diener did such a great job, and Bob and Berkey, I think were you guys appreciated them. You guys appreciated them, Bob and Berkey, and Hammer was the one who booked the flights, like to Idaho. Like he had everything set, ready to go, and basically as soon as that series, he hit the button to pay, take Ray's credit card, and off we went. A couple of the best stories we just can't say publicly. There's a good one out in Idaho too.
I got a good one. I was just thinking about this. I remember when we flipped the box spring in the mattress on Schmitty, and he didn't know until we went back to Elmira. He just thought the bed sucked. There was like 3 weeks in between trips, and nobody told him, but he just kept complaining about the beds, and we just let it run until the next trip. And then I can't remember who was in the locker room when we went on the last trip, but they're like, "Hey, look, you idiot." And then kind of spilled the beans on it because we couldn't hear him talk about it anymore. But that was a pretty good one. I can't believe he sat on the box spring the whole time.
I don't really remember Smitty ever complaining about anything.
No, he complained about that one.
What's the deal with Zinger again?
He was hurt. He hurt his shoulder. He had shoulder surgery.
Yeah, he played the first 10 games or something like that, and then was done.
Then came on to the celebration with his dress shirt on underneath his jersey, just the blue collar pop out.
Saw that.
Didn't he play like half the year though? I thought he played like half the year with us.
First half.
30 or 40 games or something like that.
He
So
hosted the
I
Christmas
remember
party,
him,
if
like,
memory serves me correct.
yeah. I remember him like fighting, and he'd tell, like he had that torn labrum. He'd have to like pull his. He said he could only fight. He was showing me like he had to pull the guy in, or else he couldn't string him out because of his labrum. I remember that. I remember him showing me that. That's fuck.
Wasn't he on the bench though? I remember that for a little bit.
Yeah, me.
I've been a little bit. Morehouse was on the bench for a little bit. He was kind of the.
Horsey.
Hey, talk about stories. So you guys remember it was in South Carolina. It wasn't the playoffs. Remember we'd always do like that road trip in like March when the circus was in town. So we did like South Carolina, Gwinnett, whatever was down there, right? Go for like a week and a half. Remember Morsey bought that wig at the mall that day?
The mullet, yeah.
Showed up that stupid. And then the bet was if we swept the road trip or something, Chuck had to wear it behind the bench for the game.
I had to wear it on the bench for the next game after, yep.
Yeah, but the
He
leather
wore that
jackets,
mullet,
like cut off
that whole
leather
trip.
jacket or something.
He looked good with that thing on.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, yeah.
I remember every time I'd leave to go onto the ice to start the game, Storky would obviously be there, like hitting you in the head and shoulders. And every time I came with Ego, he'd be like, "Go score us some goals." Like, and then every time I came by, Robo, give me 10 bumps, chip the pucks off the wall, okay? Okay, thanks, bud. I'll make sure I get 10 bumps in. Like, what? Can I score a goal or Jesus? Like.
Oh, Storky.
That's funny.
You hear from Storky at all anymore or not?
It's been, I want to say, it's probably been 5 or 6 months. But yeah, we talked when he went back out to Jamestown after things didn't work out in Oxford, and then I haven't talked to him for a little bit now. But he was back out in Jamestown with that program out there in the Dakotas.
Is there anyone from the team still playing?
Van Gilder plays in the Swiss B League still. I think Meyer's still playing. Smitty plays. Smitty plays in the KHL.
Maisie he plays in the Swiss League, Geneva. Yeah. Max was playing this year, wasn't he?
Max played last year.
I thought Max was in France or something like that again.
Yeah.
Still, yeah. I mean, there's still,
I only asked. I was considering, coming out of retirement and.
Ego, how about you? Are you still doing the real estate stuff?
No, buddy. We moved to Chicago a year and a half ago, and I'm a stay-at-home dad since then.
Tony Dan said, I knew it was coming.
Yeah. Till all the kids are in school, at least. So got another year.
Where are you at in Chicago?
Western Springs. Right.
Not too far from St. Charles.
Right next to Hinsdale.
Oh, okay.
You can listen to me.
What's everyone doing now? What's everyone doing now? Just out of curiosity, I know what a few guys are doing, but just maybe some of the fans and stuff would want to know where you guys 10 years later, what you're up to.
Yes,
I'm in real estate.
Super interested where everybody lives too. I don't really know.
All right,
I'm in. I live in Vancouver. I live in Vancouver and work in software.
A background's Vancouver?
Yeah.
All right, Robo, go ahead. Robo.
Well, what's the question?
Where are you now? What are you doing? Family, give us a little family. Sproder, you got.
Yeah, what's the Robinsons up to?
The big nickel.
I'm married. Yeah. I got a 2-year-old boy named Nixon. I know, I'm a dad. It's crazy. And I'm going to be working for the Hill Academy in Toronto.
Ooh, nice. Congrats.
Thanks, Cogs.
All right, Killer, go.
I don't know what's going on.
Beautiful Minneapolis, Minnesota right now. And I work in the sports apparel industry still. Right when I finished up playing, I've been here. Obviously, I've been able to connect with a couple of you guys because a lot of you are still coaching or playing, so it's been fun.
OH.
This thing working?
Yes.
This good? This good?
Good.
All right. I'm still in the Boston area. I have a 3-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. And I'm in medical device sales like so many other retired bums.
That's a big thing down there, the medical devices, it seems.
Yeah, kind of a hotbed, big city. Who Avesy's doing it out in somewhere else. A couple other people I forget who else is in it.
I think Eddie was in that for a little bit too.
Eddie works actually at the same company, Stryker.
Get out of here. In PA?
Yeah.
All right, who now, Ego? You're running the ship here, buddy.
Pogs, you kind of went. You're in real estate, right?
I'm in real estate. I live in Toronto.
All right. Rotor.
That's his Instagram.
I'm in Chicago, no children, married, and in the staffing and recruiting industry.
Clancy, go.
Clancy.
Yeah, I'm up in Columbus here, married, 2 boys, 3.5 and 1.5, and I'm working for kids in the banking industry.
Where are you working?
For Chase, private client banker with them, working on hopefully getting into an FA role sometime in the future here.
You're Clancy.
Let people talk. Huh?
Rotor,
I want to be like Hammer though. I want to add a little commentary, but anyways.
Gally.
Good. I'd love to see that.
Still in Cincinnati. Obviously married, 2 kids. We got a 3rd one on the way, due in October.
Nice.
And been selling new homes. So, yeah.
And repping the Jays. I like it. Sorry, Ego.
Rock.
Yeah, I'm married to Ashley, who you guys all know. We have 2 kids, 4-year-old boy, 2-year-old girl, and head coach of the Chicago Steel in the USHL. Live in like Aurora, Naperville area, pretty close to Ego. We hang out every now and then.
Sorry to hear that.
I will give Brock credit. Brock's got the best team in the USHL. Been out to see a few games. They're pretty damn good.
How much potassium are you making those kids eat, Brock?
The season ended, huh?
How often do they roll out?
How many bananas you eat in every game for that?
I can't hear anything. What? There's like a bunch of guys talking.
Chuck.
What? Go to, you got Joe. You got Joe. So you got other guys to talk to first.
I'm going up my list. It's in order for me. You're up.
Coaching at RPI, made the 19 years of pro, made the jump to college. Everyone knows married Angie. I have a 4-year-old EJ, Everett Jack, who was born over when I was coaching in the UK. I was actually coaching Robo at the time over in the UK. And then, so just enjoying being furloughed right now and hopefully get back to work August 1st. But enjoying the college game, which I'm trying to think, most all you guys went through. So from that standpoint.
Yeah, go Cornell. Big Red. Good Chuck.
Go Lakers.
We're going to get you guys.
Ego, you don't give Cranch
About what?
talking. Everyone else can talk, but I can't add any commentary.
I love
Grant just said like 2 words.
Very coming. I love it. Love it.
Go ahead.
Do you have your gavel out, Ego? Anyway, sorry.
Goza, go.
Yeah, I'm in Denver. I've got we're celebrating my 15th wedding anniversary in about a month here. I'm old, guys.
Nice.
Wow.
3 kids. Ryan. 3 kids. I got.
Hey, fellas.
I got a
I see you in the
9-year-old, a
background.
7-year-old. This 7-year-old's built like Rotor, except he's got muscle, so about the same shape though. And I got a 2.5-year-old girl too. So I'm in staffing and recruiting just like Rotor. But yeah, I've been in Denver the whole time.
Give me some tips, buddy.
Stop it too, guys. Stop it too.
All right, Motherwell.
Here we go. Live in New Albany. How much time do we have?
Alcohol?
My brother's a model, and I'm.
We'll hold your call for this.
Yeah. This might take a while. But no, live in New Albany, Ohio, or Columbus. Got 2 little kids, 3.5-year-old girl and a 14-month-old boy. Unfortunately, he has the same body as myself, very short legs, long torso, rather thick. And I'm in the private equity, private investment, real estate development, real estate portfolio industries, and own a handful of companies these days.
So you're doing all right. Nice.
For some unfortunate reason, there's about 1,300 folks that call me boss now.
Nice.
Hammer.
Well, I'm just
What are
up
you
the
doing,
road.
Hammer? I saw you, almost 2 years ago now?
About 2 years ago when we did the, what was it, for the 08 team, when we, for Bob's birthday. So, yeah, back when you were down in northern Kentucky. But I'm up the street in Harrison, about 15 minutes from downtown. I got married, and I made a move over to sales. And if I'd known that sales, commission sales, paid better than PR, I probably wouldn't know who the hell any of you are. Well, guys, it was certainly fun to get us all together. I certainly hope that we don't have to wait another 10 years to do it. Maybe we meet halfway in the middle, and in 5 years we all get together again. It's been a blast. It's always great to catch up with you guys, and certainly thanks for being a part of it.
Appreciate it, guys.
Good to see everybody.
Look for Brian O'Hanley to try to jump in that shooting lane as the puck hits the ice. Our linesman, Mike Hamilton, drops it down. It'll go to the corner. That's it. The Cyclones are the Kelly Cup champions in 2010. What an improbable finish to a season as the Cyclones wind up knocking off South Carolina in the first round, the defending Kelly Cup champions. And then in the second round, dispatch of the American Conference regular season champion Charlotte Checkers. In round 3, they come from a 3-0 deficit to the Reading Royals to advance to this round, and now against the Brabham Cup champions, the Idaho Steelheads. The Cyclones don't have to go the full length of the series. They take care of it here in 5 games tonight. Your final score, 2-1. So that is going to take care of regulation time. All the festivities now get underway. Dustin Sproat hugging head coach Chuck Weber down at the side of the Cyclones net. The confetti dropping out of the ceiling. The fireworks going off. And guess what, folks? A 25-pound piece of hardware gets to reside here in the Queen City for another season. And now the big moment that everybody's been waiting for. The big hardware.
Fans every October for the past 14 years, teams in the ECHL have taken to the ice with one goal in mind. The opportunity to hold the trophy being carried out. Teams in 15 states in British Columbia all had the same dream when the ECHL began its 22nd season in October. 8 months later, there is only one team that can call itself the National AA champion, your Cincinnati Cyclones.
And with Patrick Kelly, the longtime commissioner of the ECHL and one of the founding fathers out there, the trophy about to make its way out the runway and all the way to the table, and here it comes right now. And the Kelly Cup now heading out to the podium in the high slot area, right in front of where Robert Meyer would set up if we
Commissioner Emeritus Kelly will now present the trophy that bears his name, the Cyclones captain, Barrett Agates.
And now the captain, Barrett Agates. This is his second trip through with the trophy, and this time it's his first as the captain. He'll have an opportunity to loft it here as Pat Kelly hands it off to him. A photo opportunity first. And now let the fun and games begin with that championship trophy. So still a couple of more photographs here. Barrett Agates always won with a couple of extra moments along the way. Now says, all right, it's just about time. Let me have this doggone thing.
Let's hear it